Hello, friends, and welcome back to Extraordinary Connection. My name is Pastor Robert Blanchard, and I am serving at Lansing First United Methodist Church. And I am glad to have you with me today for this devotional. The second Saturday of every year, my hometown has a Community Day celebration. It's a pretty small community. The city of Petersburg is, in fact, the smallest city by area in the state of Michigan. And with a population of just over 1,100 people, it's down near the bottom of the list of cities in terms of population as well. The community that I grew up in isn't just the city of Petersburg, but the surrounding township of Summerfield as well. The township is fairly small, with just over 3,000 people living there. And although the township and the city have their own governments, that's about where the dividing line ends. We all attended the Summerfield School District together. We're all served by the same volunteer fire department, use the same library and post office, attend churches together. For all intents and purposes, it is one community. And Community Day is a chance every year to celebrate our lives together. The mainstay of this celebration is a parade that often includes the high school marching band, various sports teams from the community, fire trucks from our volunteer fire department, alongside many other trucks from other departments in the area, politicians during election years, various social and charitable organizations, church floats, local businesses, more tractors and lawnmowers than a person can count, and untold amounts of candy tossed to eager children or crushed in the road when it falls short. In addition to the parade, there are other ways for a person to entertain themselves throughout the day. Just over a decade ago, there was a charitable 5K called the Rose Run that began in memory of a woman named Rose Hunt who lost her life to breast cancer. Each year, it seems that the run draws more people than the year before and raises more money to support cancer research and treatment. In recent years, there have also been giant inflatables for kids to play on, and there are, of course, vendors ready to sell a person as much deep fried food as they can eat, and carnival games set up by the athletic boosters or other local groups. And lastly, there is a beer tent that operates from the afternoon well into the night to raise money for the local fire department. As a Methodist minister, I should probably have some feelings about using drunkenness to support public services, but as someone who grew up in a house just a few blocks from the beer tent, I was always more annoyed by the sounds of the music blaring into the late hours of the night. There have also been attempts in the past to expand the celebration into a multi-day affair or to introduce something new to the formula. There was one year a mattress race down the main street in town, and another year the local garage bands were given a chance to play in the Battle of the Bands. Well, so this year I drove back home to be there for Community Day. I'm a member of the Masonic Lodge, and for several years we've walked in the parade, handing out water bottles to help people stay hydrated on those hot July afternoons. This year, we just handed bottles from in front of our building, and we weren't the only ones who had scaled things back a bit as we all still recover from the events of the last year. The parade was smaller as well. There were less people around than usual. Yet, if I'm being honest with you, I got choked up as I watched all the fire departments driving by in the parade, truck after truck of smiling people waving and tossing out candy to celebrate, in a sense, the Petersburg Summerfield community, but in a larger way, our human community. Many of those driving the trucks don't live in our community and their departments don't serve our community, but they were still happy to be there celebrating our shared lives together. And after the past year, it was so refreshing to see so many people smiling and happy and together. This got me thinking about a topic that is often on my mind: our church communities. The first question that I wonder about is if someone who has never set foot in our door before tries to reach out to us, would they even find a community? Are our churches a place in the community that brings people together, or are they somewhere that's more like a country club, but with crosses? Are there ways for those who aren't already inside our club to be with us, just as neighbors and as people? Do we have community gatherings? I was just on our digital coffee hour, which we do each week, and one of our folks here at Lansing First was talking about the church that she attended as a child in Pennsylvania. You could tell all the warm memories that lay behind her recollection of the church as the community center where people gathered for all kinds of things like potlucks and fellowship. Do our churches today give people that same or at least similar entry points? I find myself often inspired by my colleagues who are trying to find new ways to position themselves as the heart of communal life. For example, I think of a friend in Ohio whose church invites local food trucks to set up in the parking lot so that people can come out and get some food and listen to some music. Or I think of the community garden at Pastor Elizabeth's church in Caledonia. Each of our churches has a way for us to be a place where community happens. We just have to be open to where the Spirit is making those opportunities for us. The other question that I often think about when it comes to our church communities is whether our church community is presenting any meaningful alternative to community elsewhere. Here's what I mean. If someone walks into our church, are they going to find the same partisan divides and the same extreme polarization that plagues our civic communities? Are they going to find people that describe their church community in terms of their political identity? Will words like traditional really mean politically conservative, and words like progressive really mean politically liberal? Will they find a group of people who tolerate each other in the pews on Sunday morning, but can't ever stand to talk to each other outside of that? Or worse, will they find people who are so deeply rooted in their political ideology that they can't even tolerate one another during Sunday worship? If this is what they find, then it's no mystery why people don't want to be a part of it. But if they find something different, they may actually find what they're looking for. If they find people who aren't interested in labels other than being Christian, they may find a community that is blessed by differing gifts, differing outlooks, differing opinions. They may find that a community that is able to communicate across difference is a much healthier community. They may find a unity that is deeper and more abiding than the unity born simply out of uniformity. If we can be that church, a church that recognizes that we are all heirs in Christ, then we will have something that people need. Then we will not just be speaking the good news, but living it out for them to see and to join. So my siblings in Christ, I hope that when people encounter your church, that first they may actually find a community. And I hope that the community they find is one that embodies the good news. And I know that the Spirit will continue to guide us all as we all work in that goal together. Amen.